What's up guys, it's Christian. In today's video I want to talk about sexual sin and why it tends to be worse than other sins and what worse means in this context. And just a disclaimer, I'm not going to be focusing on any particular sexual sin, just sexual sin in general. So sexual sin tends to be worse in the fact that it can cause many diseases and physical harm to your body as well as mental harm, because if you commit sexual sin you have to, well, just as any other sin, you have to deal with that for the rest of your life. And although we shouldn't beat ourselves up for sins that we've already been forgiven for, there's just something about sexual sin, at least to me, that really it digs deeper than most sins. It gets to you more than a lot of sins. And I think one of the reasons that is because sex was created solely for the glorification of God and for our pleasure within the boundaries of marriage. And sexual sin takes that and just completely twists and corrupts it. So when we realize that we've sinned in a way that is supposed to just glorify God and give us pleasure in non-sinful ways, it really digs deep into our souls and our hearts and really causes a mental strain on us. Another reason it's worse is because we're not only sinning, we're sinning against our own bodies and sinning against the temple of the Holy Spirit Himself. When we engage in sexual sin, we are directly sinning against and defiling the temple of the Holy Spirit, in which our bodies are supposed to be a temple of. It not only defiles your body, it defiles the body of the person who participated in the sexual sin with you. Another very good reason is because it can very easily become an addiction. Sex is supposed to be pleasurable and is very pleasurable. God gave it to us for pleasure and for other reasons, of course, but one of those reasons is pleasure. And pleasure is something that can very easily be twisted and be corrupted into sin, and it can become very addicting. It can become a very hard habit to get out of. So it can be very addicting, and it's very hard to get out of once you start, as are many sins, and it's just very hard to get out of once you start. Now, as I said earlier, worse in this context doesn't mean worse as in it's less easy to forgive. It is just as forgivable as any other sin. It is worse in the fact that it has many more ramifications than other sins tend to. It has physical ramifications, many of which can lead to death, and very long and painful death. It has mental ramifications, just as many sins do. And it's taking something that God directly created to glorify Him and corrupting it. So it's worse in the fact that it has many physical consequences that other sins don't. So when we say that sexual sin is worse, it is very important to remember in what context it is worse. It's not worse in forgivability, it is worse in just the consequences that it has. So as always, thank you all so much for watching. I love you all. Be sure to contact me on all my social media accounts. I'll put those in the description below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I love you all, and God bless. See ya in the next one.